Welcome to Rogers Center, the fourth and final game of this series against Tampa Bay, and all three games have been exciting. We've seen a little bit of everything. Great pitching, home run power, and a couple of key throws to end the ball game at home plate. Taking a look at the lineup for Tampa Bay, it's Desmond Jennings, B.J. Upton, and then Zobrist. Zobrist over his last 20 games. It's coincidental with his moving to shortstop. Has really turned things around at the plate. 356, 9 doubles and 3 home runs during that stretch. Evan Longoria back at third base. Keppinger's been a red-hot hitter in this series. He's the DH, and the former Blue Jay Ben Francisco returned to the American League East with Tampa Bay yesterday. Came on as a pinch hitter. Pena, Robertson, Molina round out the lineup, and they're set to take on Ricky Romero.
Trying to join the wing column, and it's been a couple of months for Romero, although he pitched much better his last time out, giving up just 2 runs in 7 innings against the New York Yankees. The only problem there, they couldn't score many runs, and he ends up losing his 12th game of the year. He had much better action on his stuff, and I think the 2 extra days rest for Romero in that series, 7 days in between those starts, really had a good effect on him. His fastball was very crisp, and he was throwing it in a good spot.
Defensively behind Romero, it's Rasmus in center. He's flanked by Raji Davis and Moises Sierra. Yunel Escobar is back at shortstop today and an off day yesterday. Mike McCoy makes his 3rd start at second. Danny Echeverria third. Adam Lind at first. And Yorvit Torrealba did a good job with Romero last time behind the plate when he took on the Yankees.
Yeah, he's going to be catching Romero and Alvarez for the next couple of starts. And Torrealba used Ricky's stuff that was working that day, and the things that were working that day against the Yankees, in Torrealba's mind, was his fastball and his cutter, and he really wants to establish that fastball down and away this afternoon.
Torrealba, a veteran, has a pretty good feel about what it takes to beat Tampa Bay. He did a nice job with Henderson Alvarez, getting him through 5 innings, and I think Torrealba is going to be a real asset to this ball club down the stretch. So we are set for action. Desmond Jennings, the leadoff batter, will start things off against Ricky Romero. First pitch of the ball game is outside. We are underway. Jennings was 1 for 5 in the game yesterday. He homered here on Friday night. A solo home run off Brandon Morrow. Get used to that. That's Jim Joyce behind home plate, and he leaves little doubt as to whether or not the pitch is a strike.
Mr. Microphone, you don't need with Jimmy Joyce behind the plate. And that'll go on for this whole game.
Popped up out of play. Romero's ahead 1-2. David Price is starting, but he doesn't get into that game face mode. He is a teammate, and even when he's pitching, he's going to go through all the rituals. Looks pretty tense, doesn't he?
Yeah. He looks very worried about this game and his performance.
That's the way you're supposed to be. It's baseball. Have some fun. 1-2 to Desmond Jennings. Downstairs with the changeup.
He has really worn out the Blue Jays in his career. Got his first big league hit against Toronto. Desmond Jennings swinging the bat a lot better over his last 6 games. He's career over 300 versus Toronto, so he's very dangerous at the top of the lineup.
And gets a base hit. Jennings with the leadoff single.
As he makes his way around the base, let's take a look at the scouting report for this afternoon starter Ricky Romero, brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. Fastball command is going to be very important, and they will try and establish that early in the ball game and use that cutter. Those are just 1% of the time, but it was darting all over the place in that last start against the New York Yankees. The change in the curveball much better last time out, and what Romero was saying, he's freeing up his mind. He's just going out there and just throwing the baseball, not worrying about his mechanics.
B.J. Upton bunts it up the first base side. That kid's past Romero. Only chance is McCoy, and what a play. Mike McCoy shoveled it with his glove to the first baseman, Adam Lind. We mentioned McCoy starting for just the 3rd time this afternoon. Makes a terrific play.
His speed shows up on the bases, and it also shows up here on defense. He covers a lot of ground, shading Upton up the middle in double play position, and he was the only guy who was going to be able to make that play. A little shovel shot right there from the glove right over to Adam Lind. to record a very fast B.J. Upton, just a half a step before he got to the bag.
Well, that's a good play. With a left-handed pitcher on the mound, it falls off toward third base. You push it towards second, and you got a chance for a base hit, but at least you get the sacrifice. Ben Zobrist, a switch hitter, batting right-handed against Romero. Takes one down and away.
You know, one thing that you could make that play even better is you can have that runner at first base bluff like he's stealing, and the second baseman takes a step or two towards the bag to cover.
Well, that's a great call.
He beats it out.
Right-handed batter at the plate. He's going to be covering. Ball and a strike.
But we don't want to give away too many secrets.
Oh, yeah, we're going to give away all the secrets. Ben Zobrist, a .286 hitter against Ricky Romero. He's 8 for 28 with a home run. Check that. He's got 2 home runs against Romero. There goes Jennings. He got a big jump. Throw to third is not in time. Boy, Torrealba made a heck of a throw right on the bag, but Jennings got a great jump. He steals his 24th of the season.
He's only been thrown out 2 times, an outstanding percentage. You see him get a walking lead. As soon as Romero turns towards home, he is off to the races and beats it. I didn't think Torrealba had a chance. Watch how quickly he gets rid of it. Doesn't even come up. Throws a strike right on the bag. And Jennings is safe.
Made it a lot closer than I thought he could. 2-1, 1 out. Pop back. Even in a situation like this, you're up against David Price. You don't really expect to score a lot of runs, but John Farrell has elected to play the infield back. And now they're going to come in with 2 strikes.
That was very interesting. The first couple of pitches after the stolen base, they are back. And now with Romero getting to 2 strikes, they bring him in. This is where the cutter was very good against the New York Yankees.
Why bring him in with 2 strikes?
Well, you figure that the batter is on the defensive with 2 strikes. And he's just going to try and put the ball in play. He doesn't want to strike out. He wants to have a productive at bat. So you take the chance that he hits somebody with that grounder. And you hold that runner.
3-2 pitch. Drives it toward the gap in right center. Moises Sierra catches it. Tagging at third is Jennings. And he's going to stop. Sierra stops him dead in his tracks. Moises Sierra with that great throw on Friday night to end the ball game. Jennings was thinking about scoring.
And with the throw off line, he had a pretty good chance. The momentum of Sierra is bringing him in. And you can see that the throw is up the third base line, and Jennings great speed. Maybe he gets around him, but he wants to take the bat out of the hands of Evan Longoria, so he puts on the brakes and goes back.
Good job by Sierra. Jennings took a peek at the throw and saw it was fairly much on line. Evan Longoria now with 2 outs.
Sierra on those plays, he's working on trying to take his time and get his feet underneath him. He executed that play to end the game the other night perfectly. That time Sierra looked like he was trying to go too fast and had to get his feet set, but still uncorked a good strong throw.
Good fastball there. And Torrealba with a couple of words for Ricky Romero. We've seen this with Torrealba behind the plate. In the middle of an at-bat, in the middle of an inning, he'll holler out instructions from behind the plate to his pitcher.
Kept reminding Henderson Alvarez yesterday to keep that front shoulder closed, stay together, keep that ball on line.
Drilled to left field. Rajay Davis is not going to make the play. It bounces off the wall. Longoria is headed for second, and Jennings comes in to score. The Rays have taken a 1-0 lead.
Longoria has had success against Romero in the past, but he will just drive in his second RBI against Romero in his career. This looked like a ball that was intended to go on the inner part of the plate, leaked out over the middle, and Rajay just can't run it down. Rays jump ahead quickly.
Longoria is a big fan of the air show. You can see him looking up to see where that jet was. The CNE is ongoing just down the way, and there you see one of the jets flying high above Rogers Center. Jeff Keppinger, the DH this afternoon. 1-0 Tampa Bay. Keppinger having a terrific season for Tampa Bay. They've been able to use him all over the infield and use him as the DH, and he has been consistent with the bat.
4 games against the Rays. This is his 4th different start at a different position. Although today is a DH, he's played first, second, and third first 3 games.
Joe Maddon wasn't really sure how he was going to set up his lineup today, and he lost some sleep over it last night.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure. He said when you get into September like this, you don't worry about the next series. They've got a great series against the Yankees coming up. His main concern was today's game, and he wasn't real sure how he was going to put the lineup together.
1-1. Ground ball. Escobar in the hole. It's short. Strong arm on the money. Throws out Keppinger to end the inning. Good defensive play behind Romero, but Tampa Bay has taken a 1-0 lead. Just for a series win against Tampa Bay. Take a look at the lineup for the Blue Jays. Davis, Erasmus, and Encarnacion top of the order. Adam Lind is at first base. In his last 17 games, he's hit .306. He's got a double, hit 2 home runs. He's playing at first today. Yunel Escobar back in the lineup. He got the day off yesterday. Toriyama making his 5th start behind the plate. Moises Sierra, Mike McCoy, and Adeiny Echeverria round out the lineup, and they will take on David Price.
He was on an incredible stretch, David Price was, before his last outing. He had gone 12 straight starts of 7+ innings. He was 8-0, and then he met up with the Texas Rangers. 4 innings, 10 hits, 6 earned runs. Threw 69 pitches, the fewest in a game since July of 2009, when ironically threw 56 in a 3-inning game here in Toronto.
Defensively behind David Price, Tampa Bay has tightened up their defense. They've made a couple of switching that's really paid off. In the outfield, they've got great speed in left and center, and Jennings and Upton. Ben Francisco makes his first start in right field. Ben Zobrist has tightened up the infield defense since moving to shortstop. Ryan Roberts is second baseman, but B.J. Upton made a spectacular throw yesterday.
Yeah, they're not going to take him and put him anywhere else. He threw a 300-foot strike to the plate to end yesterday's ball game. Picked up his 8th outfield assist, and that was impressive.
Center field is the hardest outfield position to throw from because you've got that mound that you're always trying to throw it over. The mound was not an issue with that throw yesterday.
On a fly right to this afternoon's catcher, Jose Molina, to end the ball game.
Rajay Davis has the count in his favor, 2-0. There's a strike. David Price, Pat mentioned his rough outing against Tampa Bay. They knocked them around, and against Texas, excuse me, the Rangers hit him hard. He is certainly one of the most dominant pitchers in all of baseball.
Well, that stretch that I just mentioned, 12 straight starts of at least 7 innings. You don't think that makes the manager's job a little bit easier and everybody around him? 8-0, 3 no decisions.
Comes right back with a fastball in a good spot. Davis strikes out.
Let's take a look at the scouting report for this afternoon starter. David Price, certainly a Cy Young candidate this year. He's going to challenge you with that fastball. He's going to go in and out and up and down and all over the place. He's got a little bit of a changeup. He cuts the ball a little bit more. But he has started this run by abandoning that changeup and using his fastball just a little bit more. Fastball slider mix and a changeup take it away. Everything has been powerful from Price.
Kobe Erasmus takes the first pitch strike. Upstairs, Price is all over the leaderboard in the pitching categories for the American League. He's second in ERA to Felix Hernandez. He is tied with Jared Weaver of the Angels for the most wins in the American League with 16. Popped up on the infield. Carlos Pena, the first baseman, battling the sun, stays with it, makes the catch. Edwin Encarnacion has been on a home run tear, and the one he hit yesterday was impressive.
Making his way towards 100 RBIs, and there's a couple right there. It was measured at 488. Get right off of that strikeout sign. And the facing of the third deck, that was a bomb.
He's hit a couple of long home runs in this homestand, and he's got it working. Boy, there's no doubt about what Price is trying to do early in this game.
Challenge him. Use that fastball.
A little bit of an extra effort from Price, but he pulls it inside. Those are his numbers for his career against the Blue Jays. He's 11-2 overall. He's 5-0 in this ballpark. 2-1 on the outside corner.
He's, we mentioned that last time out where he only threw 69 pitches, only 4 innings. That was on the 27th. So he's had 6 days in between starts. So you got to figure he has caught his second wind. He's a little bit stronger. His fastball's got some pop.
Fly ball into right. Ben Francisco is there, makes the catch. Good inning for David Price. Both starters getting through the first. Tampa Bay with a 1-0 lead. So Saturday, September 15th, Blue Jays will take on the Boston Red Sox. The game time is 1:07 p.m. special kids prize tickets in the 200 and 500 level outfield seats. After the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. To get your tickets, call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com to order your tickets for Junior Day Saturday, or you can always stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Ben Francisco takes the first pitch strike from Ricky Romero. Francisco started the season with the Blue Jays, and then he was dealt to the Houston Astros in exchange for Jay Happ and Brandon Lyon. And it has proven to be a good trade for the Blue Jays. Francisco with the Jays, 240. Didn't have a home run, had just 2 RBIs. 27 games. Had a hamstring injury that caused him to miss about a month of the season.
Had a chance to chat with him very briefly this morning, and said he's very happy to be in a pennant race right now. Houston was not going anywhere, obviously, worst record in baseball, but chance to play for Joe Maddon. He says they're going to use him against left-handers, and they're going to use him coming off the bench, and he gets a chance to play some meaningful games.
It's his high and deep to left. Davis back, looking up. Home run, Ben Francisco. Boy, you talk about immediate dividends for Tampa Bay. Ben Francisco, in his first start with the Rays, has gone deep.
You know what? And he is a guy who is involved in what we were talking about right at the end of last inning about Romero and about Joe Maddon, how he was going to put his lineup together. In the past, the splits for Romero is he has more success against right-handers. So as you see, Romero serve that one up to Francisco. So in the past, Joe Maddon has stacked his team with left-handed batters against Ricky Romero because he has poor splits against the left-hander. What he was worried about, Maddon, about the lineup is, should we do something the conventional way? Should we put more right-handers in the lineup this afternoon against Romero? It's paid off with Francisco.
Well, it sure has, and his reluctance to put right-handers in there, as you mentioned, the splits have always favored left-handers against Romero, but he's not pitching to his normal profile.
And that's exactly what he said, and that's what was going through his mind. Should I load up the lineup with the right-handers and sit the left-handers? Well, he puts Francisco in, takes Joyce out, Matt Joyce, who usually plays against Romero, and it pays off.
Carlos Pena, the 1-1 count. Ball slipped out of Romero's hand, and he's got to get back to that fluid delivery we saw in New York, where he didn't try to muscle up the breaking ball, just let it come out of his hand.
John Farrell thought that that might have been his best start of the year. Now, the numbers might not have said it, but you got to take into consideration where he was pitching and who he was pitching against, and then watch the game itself. And you're right, he was very fluid in that game. He said he shut everything off, all the negative thoughts, and just concentrated on just making pitches. And John Farrell talked about that all year long, about clearing his mind and just letting that natural ability come through.
3-1 to Carlos Pena. Straight back to the screen. We mentioned Ricky Romero in the open and how he has about 6 starts, including this one, to wrap up the season. If he can finish up on a high note, certainly goes into the offseason with a much better feeling about his year. I mean, it's been a disappointment. He hasn't won in 11 straight decisions. He missed badly, and that got the umpire, and Jim Joyce is in some pain.
Boy, that one really shot out of that left arm. Watch it. It looked like it got Torrealba and then ricocheted off of Jim Joyce. That right foot that was exposed. They wanted the ball down and away. And that time all the way across the inside part of the plate for ball 4.
Yeah, it hit him right in that shin guard, and that shin guard has a hinge just about where that ball hit, and that's where that shin guard is the least protected. Torrealba out to have a chat with Romero, and the last 12 starts for Ricky have not been good. He's 0-11 with a 7.16 ERA. The league has hit 300 against him, and his whip is nearly 2. But his last start against New York was encouraging, and if he can continue that trend to wrap up this season, at least he gets something positive to go into the offseason with.
Confidence, I thought, played a big role in his last start against New York, and he just let the ball do its thing. Didn't try to make that perfect pitch, just said, okay, I'm going to just pound down in the strike zone and see if good things will happen. And you're right, I think it's very important for a pitcher or a player, any player, as you get into September, if you haven't had the type of season that you wanted, that you see the finish line and you run through it, maybe you can learn a little something about yourself as a player.
Jim Joyce is really having a tough time getting feeling back into that right knee. George Poulos out to chat with him, and now the rest of the umpires are talking about it. He's okay. He's going to go. And Jim Joyce, if he were a player, they'd call him a gamer. So still nobody out. Pena's at first with the base on balls. Ryan Roberts, the second baseman, with a long look down at third base coach Tom Foley.
They bunted last time with a runner at first base and nobody out, and a very fast runner in Desmond Jennings. Ryan Roberts certainly can handle the bat.
Well, misses with the first pitch. Two nothing Tampa Bay. Ricky Romero, this is the second time Romero and Price have hooked up, starting against one another. The last time took place August 2nd last year, and then Romero won a heck of a ball game, a 3-1 Blue Jays win. Ricky went 8 innings, allowed just 1 hit and 1 earned run. David Price took the loss. He went 6 2/3, gave up 5 hits and 3 earned runs. Now, this is just the second time these two left-handers have met up head-to-head.
That's why I think these games against Tampa Bay and the Blue Jays are always entertaining, and they're always very close. I think our pitchers match up very well with their hitters and vice versa. And every one of these games are entertaining, and you got to stick around to the end.
Been a lot of late games. Games decided in the last inning or so, as they were the last 2 games. Fly ball to left. Long run for Rajai Davis. He's not going to get there. That's a fair ball. Pena is headed for third, and Davis hesitated. That allows Roberts to get to second. Had Davis come up throwing, he would have been able to keep Roberts at first and keep the double play in order. But he looked to third initially, and that allows Roberts to take the extra 90 feet.
Yeah, he had just gotten past first base when the ball bounced in left field. Watch it off the end of the bat, and it stays fair. Rajai Davis got a long way to go. He wasn't going to catch it, but when he catches it, he looks to third base thinking he's got Pena, and then realizes, hey, I got a chance to get the guy at second. No, he moves into second base with a double.
So Roberts for the season, his 16th double. And now the infield has to come in again. Jose Molina, the catcher, goes after the first pitch and shoots it to right. You made that point yesterday with Molina. He's always looking to go opposite field in RBI situations.
And he's always trying to shoot the ball the other way. Outfield plays him that way. Sierra very close to the line. Rasmus shading in the right center field, and it helps him to just wait on the ball just a little bit longer. He'll pull the breaking ball, especially from the left-hander. For that fastball, he's looking to shoot it the other way.
Ben Francisco led this inning off with a solo home run to left. Pena walked, Ryan Roberts doubled, and now Molina is at the plate, and Torrealba and Romero are going to talk things over. We had a good conversation with Torrealba this morning around the batting cage and talked to him about Romero, the last start, and he's got a pretty good feel for what he wants to do behind the plate.
Yeah, it has something to do with Romero and has a lot to do with the Tampa Bay Rays, that he feels that he could, if you execute down and away, use your fastball and you keep that ball away from him. He feels like Romero can get these batters out. He thought his cutter was outstanding and his fastball was very good against the Yankees. I thought his curveball was very good against New York.
Up and away off the glove, but not that far behind home plate. Torey Alba knows this Rays team very well. He was with the Texas Rangers a year ago when these two teams met up in the Division Series Championship. So Torey Alba, working with the Texas pitchers, really had extensive scouting reports to go over during that championship series. Blocked, and Pena has to hold his ground. Moises Sierra in right field kept Desmond Jennings from scoring momentarily. Jennings eventually scored on the RBI double by Evan Longoria. But on a fly ball off the bat of Ben Zobrist in the first inning, Jennings tagged and broke halfway, but then stopped as Sierra unloaded a strong throw to the plate. Ground ball, foul, third. Molina shaking his head. He knows Romero's going to give him those off-speed pitches with 2 strikes.
Just guarding against that fastball. Shorten it up. He can handle that fastball too.
Two and two. Line drive into center. That'll get down for a base hit. Pena comes in to score. Roberts goes to third, and Molina delivers an RBI single. 3-0 Tampa Bay.
Well, there it was right there. Fastball. And Molina was waiting for it. After that changeup, he knew he was going to go with something a little firm on the inner half, and he just shoots it right back through the middle. You can see his style of hitting, the way he hits. He pulls those hands in, just tries to go middle to away with that fastball, and he's rewarded with a base hit.
Back to the top of the order. Desmond Jennings singled and scored in first. Singles into center on the first pitch. Roberts comes in to score. Molina goes to second. And it's 4-0 Tampa Bay. 6 hits already off Ricky Romero.
4 of them this inning. And they still don't have anybody out. Jennings continues to wear out the Blue Jay pitching. Not waiting around for anything. It looked like a little backdoor cutter, and he took it right back through the middle for the RBI single. His second hit in as many innings.
Pete Walker continues to fill in for Bruce Walton, who is with his family out in Calgary for the birth of their son. Walton is headed back today. Should be with the team tomorrow for the game. Chad Jenkins starting to loosen up in a hurry down in the Blue Jays bullpen. Desmond Jennings with the RBI, second hit of the day.
His career average versus the Blue Jays, the highest of any major league team, and just continues to do his thing.
12 for 35 this year against the Blue Jays. B.J. Epton had a sacrifice bunt in the first. That set up the Rays' first run. He goes after the first pitch. Tampa Bay with 6 hits already. They had a total of 8 in the game yesterday. They scored 5 runs and won 5-4. Their bats have come alive a little bit in this series. They had 10 hits in a 2-1 loss on Friday night.
Hitting's contagious. I'm telling you, you know.
High fly ball into right. Sierra coming in. Now he's dealing with the sun. He can't find it. You got to get up in a hurry as Molina is going to third. And that's a base hit for Upton. Sierra Took a long time to get his glove up to protect his eyes against the sun, and by the time he looked up into that sun, he had no chance.
Yeah, never really got close to it. He's got the sunglasses, throws it up, and now it's gone. And he can't find it again. And you can see how far that ball ended up away from him. Goes down to protect himself. It's a tough sky. Molina, he's not going anywhere. He's not going to tag up, or he is not going to advance on a fly ball, but he can go to third base on when that ball lands safely.
So the bases are loaded. Still nobody out. 3 runs in this inning. That's a tough sun. We've always seen that, especially late in the year here at Rogers Center.
Well, it is right where that ball ends up going in the outfield. You got to play it off to the side. You got to keep your eye on it and just battle it.
Ben Zobrist flied out to right his first time up. Base hit into center. Molina is in. Right behind him is Jennings, and Zobrist delivers a 2-run single. 6-0. And John Farrell quickly makes the call for the bullpen. Ricky Romero will not record an out in the second inning. Ben Zobrist ripped it past the shortstop into center to drive in 2. So Chet Jenkins will come out of the bullpen. Blue Jays are down 6-0 against David Price, and they got a lot of work to do. After not recording it out in the second, and Tampa Bay has a 6-0 lead. 8 runs overall, and Ben Francisco got things started with a leadoff home run, and Tampa Bay just jumped all over Ricky Romero.
Ball down the left field line by Roberts. It found the hole. The ball up in the sun. That found a hole, and then some solid singles by Molina and Zobrist. And Jennings, his afternoon over 1+ inning, 8 hits, and the runners on base are his. So Chad Jenkins will try and stop it right there. Keep those runs from scoring. He's going to have to go a long way this afternoon. He was a starter in Double-A, so he's still stretched out enough to give him 3, 4, maybe even 5 innings if he has some quick innings. There are his numbers in his 8 games here in the big leagues. He features a nice little sinking fastball and a slider. He's got to have some quick innings and some quick outs to get deeper into this ball game.
Chad Jenkins worked 3 1/3 his last time out. That was on the 25th of August. So he's well rested and stretched out. He threw 53 pitches in that outing. So he's got plenty of bullets in that arm. Evan Longoria had an RBI double his first time up. Goes after the first pitch. Hits it deep into left center. BJ Upton tagging at second, and he's going to challenge the arm, and now they're going to move up 90 feet. First out of the inning.
The Blue Jays on Sportsnet, brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware and building center location. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Jeff Keppinger bats with one out. He is the 9th Ray to hit this inning. Ground ball. Echeverria will go to first. Keppinger's out. Upton comes in to score. 7-0 Tampa Bay.
Just get the out when you have to.
Alex Anthopoulos and Andrew Chinish up in the press box. Obviously a little concerned, I'm sure, with Ricky Romero this afternoon. Ben Francisco, he got it all started in a solo home run off Ricky Romero to lead the inning off. Late on that fastball. One thing we've seen with Chad Jenkins, he'll throw strikes.
Yeah.
He has come up and he has adapted very well into the role out of the bullpen. He started throughout his career, but it looks like he's perfectly suited to pitch as a reliever.
I think it's a great way for a young pitcher to break into the big leagues. Low pressure situations, matchups that are favorable for you. Good pitch.
He makes quick work of Ben Francisco, and the inning is over. But Tampa Bay scores 6 runs in the second to take a 7-0 lead. Time Toronto hits a home run, you could win big. Audio, home theater systems, and big TVs like an 80-inch Sharp Aquos Quattron. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Ricky Romero did not retire a batter in the second, but he's not going to leave. It was a disappointing start after such a promising outing against the Yankees. And Ben Francisco got it going, and it was downhill after that leadoff home run.
Yeah, probably the most worrisome thing is the inconsistencies. A very good start, I thought, against the New York Yankees, following a game against Detroit where he walked 8 and didn't strike out a batter in 5 1/3 innings, and then just 1+ innings here this afternoon. Those inconsistencies from start to start has got to be an alarming thing.
Adam Lynn takes a first pitch strike from David Price. Price had a quick first inning. He retired the side in order.
Price does the two things that I think you want from a starting pitcher. strikeouts and ground balls. He's the only starter this season who has struck out at least 25% of the batters he's faced and generated a ground ball rate of 50%. So strikeouts and ground balls, that's what you want from your starter.
When you do that, you can keep the ball in the ballpark, that's for sure.
Keep your infield engaged with a lot of ground balls. Keep it out of the air. There's not a lot of extra base hits when the ball's hit on the ground. And then strikeouts shut down potential scoring opportunities. And he's the best in baseball to do that.
Now, the one thing that has plagued the Rays, it's never been pitching problems. It's been the offense. And today they have a big lead early. 7-0 on 8 hits off the plate. I mentioned Price has never lost in this ballpark. He's 5-0 against the Jays here at Rogers Center. Wow, leadoff walk.
Outside part of the plate, he comes up empty.
Ricky Romero, a disappointing pitching line for sure. He goes 1+ innings, gives up 8 hits, 7 earned runs. It pushes the ERA to 5.85 for the season. He walked the batter through 43 pitches. And Ricky Romero has experienced a tough season, that's for sure.
And just couldn't get the ball down again, throw the ball where he wanted to. When Torrealba was on the outside part of the plate and he threw a fastball on the inside part of the plate, that's all you needed to see. He just didn't have that command that he needed.
Well, David Price is having trouble with his command. He walked the leadoff batter. Now he's fallen behind Yunel Escobar. We mentioned Price last time out. He had a comfortable lead early on against the Rangers, but the Rangers came back and jumped on him. They had 10 hits against David Price and scored 6 runs. Tampa Bay jumped up to a 2-0 lead in the top of the first down in Arlington, and then Texas stormed right back with 3 in the second and 2 in the third.
His first road loss since May the 10th. You have to go all the way back there. Now the strike zone is jumping around on him.
This is always a challenge for a pitcher when you have such a big lead early in a ball game. And now he can't throw a strike. It's 3-0. Get out there and you say, okay, now I got a comfortable lead. This is a team that has struggled mightily to score runs. They had 4 1-0 losses in the month of August.
A bit of a long inning in the top of the second inning where Price was sitting over there. So he's come out and he's walked the first batter. Falling behind the second batter.
Then ripped by Escobar a little bit late. The AL wild card is really going to bunch up. When you look at the Athletics, they continue to roll. They have been the great story of this baseball season. Oakland has won 8 in a row. And they are right there with the Orioles. Baltimore lost yesterday to the Yankees in a tough game, and then Tampa Bay. Back-to-back walks for the Blue Jays, and they got to dig their heels in now and see if they can't get back in this ballgame.
Well, you know you can't get it all back with one swing, so you just peck away here and there, and you got to take advantage when a pitcher like David Price starts to lose that strike zone. Take what he will give you and come up with a couple of clutch hits, and you're going to be right back in this.
This is always tough for a hitter. Torrealba steps in. He's walked the first 2 batters. Now you just got to think he's going to throw you a first pitch strike.
If you swing and you hit it and you get a base hit, that's a good thing. If you swing and make it out, that's a bad thing. People are going to say, well, why did you swing at the first pitch? You just walked the first 2 batters.
Now that's not a concern as Price throws a first pitch strike. First and second, nobody out.
But if you swing at that first pitch and get a base hit, hey, smart hitting.
1-1. Well, we mentioned that wild card, Tampa Bay, with this game today. Now one more off the road schedule. They will have 12 road games left, 16 home games. They still have 6 games with the Yankees, 6 games with the Orioles, and 6 games with the Red Sox. There's a broken bat fly ball to left. Jennings is there, and Torrealba's retired.
They also have a series against the Texas Rangers, who are coming to town soon.
They play 3 games against Texas. They will go from here after this ball game into New York for a 3-game series. Then they return home to take on the Rangers. And then they go right back. They'll have that Yankee series at home.
Yeah.
They'll play the Yankees at home for 3, Texas for 3, and then they go to Baltimore for a 3-game series, and then back to New York.
Still have to go to Chicago, too. Big 4-game series against the White Sox.
The last weekend of the season. And they'll finish up at home against Baltimore, a 3-game series. So they've got all the people that they need to play. They're on their schedule.
Yeah, and it's right there, and it's a chance for them to, get into the playoffs and earn it. And that question was posed to Joe Maddon this morning about the Yankees. You mentioned them going home to play the Yankees. He said, I'm not thinking about them, but I honestly feel like we can catch the Yankees and pass them. But he said something interesting after that. He said, we have to get Baltimore first.
Sierra bounces the ball to third. Longoria throws on the run. That's the second out of the inning. The runners move up. Lynn to third. Escobar to second.
So Joe Maddon is not discounting the Baltimore Orioles. He thinks with that remark there that they're going to be in it all the way to the end. That if they want to catch the Yankees, they have to catch the Orioles first.
Baltimore has 13 road games and 17 home games left on their schedule. The Orioles will come into Rogers Center for a 3-game series starting tomorrow afternoon. Then they go back home to take on the Yankees for 4. Mike McCoy takes a first pitch strike. Baltimore, they go into Oakland to play 3 and then up to Seattle before they go back to Boston. It's a 9-game road trip. Oakland, Seattle, Boston. That's interesting at the end of the season.
That's going to be their season right there.
Yeah, Oakland and Seattle right now, the way they're playing. Of course, Oakland is in the wild card hunt. Seattle has been tough. Another strike to McCoy. It's 1-2.
Oakland is laying it on Boston right now in that series.
Boy, Oakland has had some run. A.J. Griffin took a perfect game into the 5th inning. His first start since coming off the disabled list yesterday. I mean, that's just exaggerating what the Oakland A's have done to Boston. They beat him 20-2, and then they throw a perfect game for the first 4 innings. They had a 5-0 lead. Oakland did. Jared Saltalamacchia had a bunt single for the first hit in the 5th inning. And of course, the A's fans booed. But you got to think, if you're Boston, you got to try anything. Outside, it's 2-2 to Mike McCoy. Well, this would be a big hit right here, just to send a message to Tampa Bay that we're not going to give up.
Right.
2 runners in scoring position.
Get 2 of them back very quickly. After they score 6 in the top, get 2 of them back, and then just take your chances the rest of the way and fight to get that tying run to the plate.
Full count.
Well, it's been a long inning. Very easy first inning for David Price. 3 up and 3 down. Now a couple of walks.
Lind walked to start the inning. Escobar walked right behind him. He's at second. And then Mike McCoy now with 2 outs. 24 pitches for Price this inning. David Price has always been a challenge for hitters. You take a look at the opponent's batting average over the last 3 seasons in the American League. Justin Verlander, 211. Jared Weaver, the Angels, 215. And there's Price. He and his teammate Jeremy Hellickson are 3rd and 4th in that department in the American League. They're stingy.
You know what you're going to get with him. He's going to challenge you with a fastball.
There's a walk. 3 walks in the inning, and the Blue Jays have loaded the bases.
And right now, he can't get that fastball over.
Hey, fans, keep watching. With the bases loaded, we're a grand slam away from awarding an 80-inch Sharp Quadron Aquos LCD TV. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Sharp. Big is too small a word for it. 3 walks have loaded the bases. Lynn Escobar and Mike McCoy. Adeiny Echeverria, the rookie 3rd baseman. Got a booming double in the 8th inning in yesterday's game. And I like his approach. Took a big hack in that first pitch fastball.
Might be the best pitch you see in this at bat. So be ready. Pitcher might be laying back, saying, okay, number 9 hitter, rookie, let me lay one in there for you. Wow, he is not missing by much. Molina's doing a good job trying to pull that ball back into the strike zone for his pitcher.
Yeah, he's having a little chat with Jim Joyce, the home plate umpire, about that strike zone. Ball on the strike, 2 outs. Bouncing ball. Zobrist from shortstop on the run, and the inning is over. David Price strands the bases loaded. He walked 3, but he still has that 7-run lead. Tomorrow, it'll all start tomorrow afternoon. Labor Day Monday, a 1:07 start. Then Tuesday night and Wednesday night, the Blue Jays will then go on to Boston. For tickets to that Orioles series, call Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. You can log on to BlueJays.com to order your Jays ticket, or you can stop by most Rogers Plus locations. So the Orioles are in town, and they are high flying right now. They lost a tough one yesterday. They kicked it around a little bit. They had a bases loaded walk, and then Nick Swisher hit a ground ball. Could have got the Orioles out of the inning. But J.J. Hardy, of all people, booted it at shortstop. He's having a terrific year defensively, but it was a big error.
Yeah, fewest errors by a shortstop in the American League.
Carlos Pena hits it high to center field. Rasmus looking up, and Pena hits a solo home run. Carlos Pena did not start the first 2 games of this series. Today he has walked and homered. He was 0 for 4 in yesterday's game with a couple of strikeouts.
Tampa Bay Rays, I think, need his bat to start coming around. 17th home run this season by Pena. And that bat's got to be a productive bat. It's a left-handed hitting. And he can team up with Evan Longoria, hits right-handed, driving some big runs. And they're going to need him this last month of the season to get hot.
275th career home run for Carlos Pena. Yeah, it's been a tough season for him. He's a proud guy, and his batting average is under 200. Sharply hit, but right to Escobar. Roberts is out. We told you that Chad Jenkins can throw strikes. He's thrown 8 pitches, and they've all been strikes.
Pound that fastball in there. Make them hit their way on. There it is right there. 8 pitches, 8 strikes. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as we mention it, he throws one out of the strike zone.
Jose Molina, an RBI single to center. His first time up. Easy bounce for Echeverria. Molina is out. 2 down.
Yeah, that's why I think Chad Jenkins has the possibility of being pretty good, because he really throws a heavy sinking fastball. And for a hitter, it's very tough to square that one up and hit it solidly. Those last 2 pitches to Roberts and then Molina getting the ground ball. That's what you're looking for from a big, strong right-hander like Jenkins.
Comes right at Desmond Jennings. Jennings already a couple of hits. He's scored 2 runs. He's driven in a run. Mike McCoy, the second baseman, is there, makes the catch. Leadoff home run by Pena, and the Rays have extended their lead 8-0. Top of the order for the Jays in the bottom of the third. Rajay Davis, Colby Erasmus, Edwin Encarnacion. Sportsnet presents Diamonds in the Rough, narrated by Ricky Romero. Diamonds in the Rough takes a look at a group of 11 kids from Toronto's underserved communities who are given an opportunity of a lifetime. A heartbreaking and inspiring story you won't want to miss. Tomorrow at noon Eastern Time on Sportsnet. the third inning at Rogers Center. David Price and the Rays have an 8-0 lead. Top of the order for the Jays, Davis, Rasmussen, Encarnacion. Price had a shorter inning in the dugout. You can see how he reacts to that this inning.
Yeah, let's see if he can attack the strike zone a little bit more, make him put the ball in play. Has some easier innings, 44 pitches now in just the third inning. I think Joe Madden was counting on Price giving him 7 or 8 innings because the bullpen got a lot of work yesterday.
He strikes out Rajay Davis. That's the first out of the bottom of the third.
The all-new 2012 Honda CR-V. Yeah, it does that. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
That hit Rasmus, and he'll take first base. Price with that first pitch fastball brushed the jersey of Rasmus, and he'll go to first. Blue Jays have had 4 base runners, 3 walks and a hit batted.
Right on top of the plate is Rasmus. That fastball gets him away from him. It didn't look like it hit his ribs. It looked like it hit more of the shirt, the jersey. So Colby's okay. Well, if that one hits the ribs, that one's going to leave a mark.
Price misses with the first pitch to Encarnacion. Edwin flew out to right. That ended the first. There's a drive to left field. Jennings quickly over to his right, makes the catch. Edwin hit it hard, but Jennings ran it down.
If he could have gotten this ball airborne, that would have been fun to watch, but he's got a little bit too much top spin on it. And Edwin hits a bullet to left field and doesn't have anything to show for it. We'll see sometime. Maybe his next at bat, if he can time one of those fastballs up. Power versus power.
Hit it right on the sweet spot that time. Adam Lynn walked in the second. Month of September is always going to have a lot of call-ups. Texas Rangers have their brightest prospect up at the big leagues, Jurickson Profar, starting today, 2 for 2 with his first big league home run.
No way. Where's he at? Where is he playing? Because they were talking about him playing all over the infield.
He's playing second.
Second base.
He's hit a double and a home run in his first big league game. He is 19 years old, 276 days old. He's the youngest Ranger ever to hit a home run. David Price strikes out Adam Lynn. Blue Jays can't get anything going against big David Price. down to Las Vegas and take a look at Mike McDade over his last 10 games. He's carrying a .385 average, a .467 on base percentage, OPS over 1. He's got an 8-game hit streak. He's a switch-hitting first baseman that handles the glove fairly well around first, and he's just 23 years old. Think we might see him in September?
Yeah, I think there's a good chance. He's on the 40-man roster. Their season ends in a couple of days. Haven't heard who the everyday players are going to be back here, except maybe a young going as a third catcher. But it wouldn't shock me if Mike McDade's one of them. Can always use a guy who can hit.
Top of the 4th inning, B.J. Upton. B.J. Upton was involved in the first run of the day when he sacrificed. He was probably bunting for a base hit. He tried to push it by Ricky Romero, got it past the pitcher, but Mike McCoy made a fine play to throw him out at first base. But he was credited with the sacrifice bunt, and that moved Desmond Jennings into scoring position. Jennings scored on Longoria's double.
Never a bad idea, I think, in a game like that. Good quick work right there by Jenkins to get B.J. Upton. When you've got a David Price throwing, get one early. When the first batter gets on, play for that 1 run early. Gene Mock used to always play like that. If I score 1, you got to get 2 to beat me.
Yeah, isn't that something? Mock, when he was with the Angels, had that great team that would bunt a lot. Tim Foley was on that team. Bob Boone bunted a lot. Rob Wilfong. All those guys would bunt and try to get that 1-0 lead early on.
It's sound advice, I think, especially when you've got somebody like a David Price working for you.
Ben Zobrist drove in 2 in that 6-run second inning. We mentioned the Rays and their upcoming schedule. They'll go home and take on the Yankees. And Texas has got an interesting schedule as well. They have 17 road games and just 13 home games. Bouncing ball, easy play for Jenkins. He'll run it to first and nearly handcuffed Adam Lind. He threw it right around his knees.
Sometimes those easy plays end up very interesting. He catches the ball. He's a fine fielder. Watch the reaction here. Catches it, and now he runs it over, shovels it, says, oh, got to get that first baseman over there. Lind was still on his way over to the bag when he let it go. There's plenty of time to get Zobrist.
Evan Longoria is 1 for 2. RBI double in the first. Jason Frazier worked his second inning down in the minor leagues in Dunedin. They played against Clearwater. He pitched the 7th inning at a 1-2-3 7th inning with 2 strikeouts.
He will be here today, and he will be available tomorrow, according to the manager. So another arm that will be added to that bullpen.
Another notable big leaguer that's rehabbing, Alex Rodriguez, is down in Tampa, Florida State League. He's got 0 for 7 in his first 2 rehab starts. He has walked once and has struck out 4 times. So he's getting close to returning.
A-Rod is down in the Florida State League. Think those kids aren't excited to see him?
He is close. We saw him work out all throughout the Blue Jays series in New York, and he put in a lot of work running the bases, fielding his ground balls, taking his BP. So now he's going to get a few more games under his belt before he rejoins the Yankees. Longoria, that's a fair ball, kicked up chalk, and it will be grabbed by a fan. That will be a double, but it clearly kicked up a cloud of white chalk, and it was unusual because it looked like it was going to be foul. It was hooking, and the third base umpire waved it fair.
Yeah, it looked like he was thinking about it and then waved it fair. Let's watch this shot once again. Over. And watch his reaction. He thinks about it. He thinks about it. He's still trying to make up his mind. He goes, that's a fair ball. Here's where the Blue Jays got hurt, though. Evan Longoria's had the bad hamstring, and that ball was hit hard. Rajay Davis was going to have a play on him at second base, but with the fan reaching over onto the play, he is awarded second base on fan interference. I don't think that he was going to.
Probably wasn't going to stretch it.
No.
But you see, once this ball is signaled fair, the fan reaches over and grabs it, and then it's academic, and Longoria ends up at second with 2 outs.
He has been told, Longoria, not to run hard because of the hamstring problems that he had this year. Just jog. We don't want you to push it. He was just at first base when that ball was caught by the fan.
Jeff Keppinger's grounded out twice this afternoon. Ball and a strike. Jenkins is going to have to stretch out his outing here this afternoon. He came into relief in this ball game in the second inning with nobody out.
He's doing a good job. He is in his third inning of work. He has thrown 27 pitches. He's had some quick, easy innings. And that'll certainly help him get into the 6th inning, maybe the 7th inning, if you can stretch him out this afternoon.
Well, we mentioned quick turnaround tomorrow, day game. The Orioles are in town, first of 3. Blue Jays will have an off day on Thursday, and then they open up a 3-game series against the Red Sox. They'll also have an off day on Monday, the 10th. Broken bat up the middle. Escobar turns and fires, and Lynn comes off the bag. He kept it on the infield to keep Longoria from thinking about scoring. Fine effort by Escobar, but Keppinger has an infield hit.
Showing some range for a shortstop right there. He took a good angle on that ball. You can see where he was when he unloaded it over to first base. They weren't going to get Keppinger. Ball right off the end of the bat, but watch the angle that he runs that ball down on. It's not a straight line across the infield. He gave a little ground, made a nice play, kept the ball in the infield, and kept Longoria from scoring.
Yeah, if that ball sneaks through, Longoria is probably going to jog home. Now Escobar saves a run for Jenkins. Ben Francisco, boy, he started the big inning in the second. A solo home run off Ricky Romero. Hits this ball hard down the left line and just foul. Hit that into the second deck.
We've talked about it before where players, when they get traded, they come back. They want to prove you wrong. I don't know if Ben Francisco is feeling that this afternoon, but he certainly has acted like it when he's at the plate. Homered that first time up and almost had a 3-run jolt down the left field line.
That hits Longoria, and that's the last thing Joe Madden wants to see. Longoria was in foul ground and couldn't move quick enough to get out of the way. That's why base runners take their lead in foul territory.
Right on the foot.
Had he been in fair territory, he'd have been out. And Longoria's got to be thinking, what else can happen to me?
That guy, too.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 4th inning. Francisco drives it to center. Rasmus is not going to get it. It bounces over the wall for a ground rule double. Longoria jogs in from third. Keppinger stops at third base, and Francisco, his second extra base hit of the afternoon. He's driven in 2.
All with 2 outs. here in the fourth inning. Striked out, comebacker very easy. Then Longoria had the double. The infield single by Keppinger, and now Francisco showing off some power. Ground rule double to right center field. Stayed right with that pitch.
10th double of the season, his 100th career double. Francisco had 5 doubles with the Jays in 27 games. He had 4 more with Houston. And he has homered and doubled here this afternoon. Carlos Pena with his 17th home run of the season led off the 3rd inning.
In a horrible slump when he came into the series against the Blue Jays. You mentioned that he was off the first couple of games. But he came up with a pinch hit. That was the ball that Sierra threw the runner out at the plate. The Blue Jays ended up winning that game. A couple of days off. Stroke seems to be back. He walked his first time up and then hit a long home run to right center.
Now his pinch hit on Friday night in the 9th inning snapped it over 17. He was really scuffling.
He was out here early the other day working with Derek Shelton, trying to keep that ball, driving it to the left side. Felt like he was getting under it, popping it up. And now they're just going to take the bat out of his hand.
3-0. And they'll put him on. Not give him a chance to drive in 2 more. So Ryan Roberts will come to the plate with bases loaded and 2 outs.
The all-new 2012 Honda CR-V. Yeah, it does that. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
CN Tower at Labor Day weekend in Toronto and across Canada. Obviously a great weekend for everybody as the summer is winding down. Ryan Roberts goes after the first pitch. Lynn, the first baseman, gives way to McCoy, who had a better angle. He wasn't looking directly into that sun, and McCoy makes the catch in foul ground. The Rays strand the bases loaded, but add another run. It's 9-0 Tampa Bay. Toronto hits a home run in the 4th inning. A lucky winner will take home a Sharp home theater system, including audio soundbar, Blu-ray player, and Aquos LCD TV. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Sharp, big is too small a word for it. Big David Price on the mound. And this organization done a terrific job of signing, drafting, and developing pitchers. We'll take a look at James Shields. 466 pick overall, but he was hurt in high school, and that's why his draft position dropped dramatically. He was drafted in 2000. Nothing wrong with Jeff Neiman. He came out of Rice. He was a 4th overall pick. Jeremy Hellickson came from Iowa, and he was kind of a middle-of-the-road prospect. He's turned into a terrific young pitcher. Alex Cobb was 109th. David Price, 1st overall pick out of Vanderbilt, and then Matt Moore. The one that really jumps out at you is Matt Moore, the 245th player selected overall.
Yeah, the Price pick, that was a layup. He was the best player in the country when he was #1 overall. Tampa Bay got the 1st pick.
And Jose Molina took that shot, appeared to hit him on a knee, and he went down in a heap. He got crushed at home plate yesterday, but he was able to hold on to it. I'm not sure if that hit him in the knee or the chest protector, but he took a heck of a shot.
Right in the chest protector. I talked to him today, this morning, about that. He said he got hit on the side of the knee, but he's okay. Watch where this one hits.
Right on the collarbone. And you can have all the protection you want, but that's quite a shot he took to the collarbone. And he says he's okay. Initial shock knocked him to his knees.
Boy, you got to be a tough guy to be a catcher.
Not everybody can be a catcher, Pat.
I couldn't.
Some of us were restricted because of our abilities. This is yesterday with Molina at the plate and the game on the line.
Watch the left knee of Jose Molina at the plate and where the scale hits him right there. And it just hyperextended a little bit, but he still kept that anchor. He went down, hobbled off the playing field, but back in the lineup this afternoon. Now he gets one right off the face mask. Wow. But he said he's okay. He said he banged into his knee. It hurts a little bit. Got a little treatment on it yesterday, but he's okay.
Yeah, this time of the year, everybody's beat up. I don't care if you're a catcher, an infielder, an outfielder, pitcher. Everybody's beat up. This is the time when you want to be playing meaningful games. Yunel Escobar 0-2. Breaking ball, and he fouls it at the plate. Take a look at the Tampa Bay draft in 2007. Of course, David Price was the 1st overall pick. Mike Moustakas has turned into a great pick for Kansas City. He's their everyday 3rd baseman now. Josh Fitters hasn't had that. Moskos for the Pirates, and Matt Wieters. #5 with the Orioles, obviously. He's a Gold Glove All-Star catcher that's a switch hitter. That's a pretty good use of a 1st-round pick.
Yeah, a young guy like that who can call a game, and it's a very important position, catcher, so that's settled for the next 10 years. Good pitch by Price. The value of having those top 5 draft picks, you got to hit on them. And in Tampa Bay, they've made their mistakes now when they have had some of their top 5 picks. That little cutter on the outside part of the plate. Price picks up his 4th strikeout of the afternoon. Price, like I said, was a layup. That was easy. He was the best player. But they have missed.
Price was 6'6" coming out of Vanderbilt. He's one of the most dominant pitchers in the country, in North America, and they had the 1st pick. And a big left-hander like that throws 97. It's almost a slam dunk.
You know, I think another area where the Rays have done well, their scouts have recognized young players, young pitchers, and they've gotten them into the organization and they've developed them.
You're Vit Torrealba, and you can hear the fans at Rogers Center acknowledging that that's the 1st hit off David Price. Torrealba goes the other way and lines it into right. Comes with 1 out in the 4th.
He has shown that ability, taking that breaking ball away. His home run at Yankee Stadium was to right field. That time he takes that one to right for the game's 1st hit for the Blue Jays.
Moises Sierra grounded to third base his first time up. Ball and a strike, 1 out. Fly ball into right. Ben Francisco. We're near the foul line. No problem at all. 2 down. You mentioned David Price. He was a first overall pick, and Evan Longoria was the first overall pick in 2006. Neiman in 2004. Delman Young 2003. B.J. Upton first overall pick, first round pick,
right,
of the Rays in 2002. Delman Young was a first overall pick, same as Price.
Tim Beckham was a first overall pick. He's a shortstop who's still in the minor leagues with Tampa.
He was taken in the 2008 draft. I'll give you one more that will make you appreciate just how good Tampa Bay's draft has been. How about Josh Hamilton, first overall pick in '99?
That's right. He and Josh Beckett won 2. Now there's something to be said about having the #1 pick overall.
Yeah, you got to be bad, obviously, to get that. But when they picked Price and Hamilton, they were right on track.
I like what they've done with some of their other pitchers. Jake McGee. I love Jake McGee. He's out in the bullpen. He was a 5th round pick in 2004. And you mentioned Matt Moore.
Moore was an 8th round pick.
So their scouts have done a good job of recognizing young talent, and then they put them in the minor leagues and they develop them. They don't have anybody on their roster from the 2008 draft and higher this year. I mean, when they are ready, they bring them up and they take their time in the minor league.
Mike McCoy rips it down the left side. That'll go all the way to the wall. Corey Alba is headed to third, and he'll stop there. McCoy jumped all over that high fastball and rips it double.
When you see your name in the lineup and you see who you are facing, you want to do something here to help the ball club. Mike McCoy rifles this ball down into the corner. He has played a good third base, a good second base. He has run the bases well. And in that time, gets the first extra base hit by the Blue Jays this afternoon.
First double of the season for Mike McCoy. He has a home run, but that's his first double. Second and third, 2 outs. Number 9 hitter, Danny Echeverria. Ground ball towards second. Ryan Roberts has it, and 1 pitch, and Price is out of the jam. But the Blue Jays get a couple of hits. They still trail 9-0 after 4. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. enjoying those big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are guests of TD. The TD Comfort Zone, courtesy of TD. Well, they've seen a lot of offense. Unfortunately, it's all one-sided this afternoon. Tampa Bay has scored 9 runs on 12 hits. They've hit a pair of home runs. Blue Jays managed just 2 hits, and then he came in the bottom of the 4th inning. Toriyama with a 1-out single, and Mike McCoy a 2-out double. But they leave a pair, and the air show is ongoing. The final weekend of the Canadian National Exhibition, and it's always a highlight to see that air show right here on the shores of Lake Ontario. Jose Molina has had quite an interesting couple of days. Play at the plate, couple of rough foul balls, and this time he grounds out to the third baseman.
So you want to be a catcher, huh?
Well, I think if you look at Molina and myself, we probably didn't have the option to play shortstop. So we had to think about where we were going to play, and obviously we all wanted to play, so catcher was a natural.
Because you guys are so smart.
Yeah, that's it. And couldn't run a lick.
All right. I'll go with that. What's amazing is he's got 2 other brothers who are catchers, and they're all-stars.
Yeah. He's the only one that was a catcher as kids. The other 2 were infielders. Yadier was a third baseman. Benji was a second baseman, and Jose is the only one that was a true catcher.
Well, whoever taught them growing up to be a catcher, somebody needs to hire them, because all 3 of them outstanding.
Desmond Jennings is having some afternoon. He lines it into center field. That's his 3rd hit of the day. Now Jeff Mathis, he's still a little banged and bruised, and a couple nights ago with a great Sierra throw, and Mathis put up a roadblock.
You know, this is an exciting play in baseball. You play at the plate when the game is on the line. Sierra throws a strike. Mathis doesn't have to reach for that ball. If he has to reach for that ball towards the Tampa Bay dugout, he's going to expose himself and he's going to get smoked. But because he was right there to catch it and just kind of get into fetal position and just block off Elliott Johnson, that's the guy who took the beating.
Yeah, he's the one that delivered the blow, but you can see he's got a little road rash on the side of his face. Broken bat grounder to third. Echeverria to second for 1. Back to first, and almost turned a double play. Mike McCoy did a terrific job on the pivot. Looked like they had no chance with Upton running, but he turned and fired a strike. Echeverria is quick at third.
Yeah, but it all started with Echeverria. Watch how quickly he gets rid of this ball and throws a strike to McCoy, who does the same thing right around the diamond on a slow hit ball. And the Blue Jays infield almost turned it. Echeverria has been a player over there who just wants to gain knowledge about playing the infield. He's done a good job.
Then Zobrist goes after the first pitch and hits a little looper in the left. That'll get down for a base hit. Tampa Bay's having one of those days. Everything they swing at falls in there. Plus, when they hit it hard, it goes out of the ballpark. 14 hits now for Tampa Bay.
Well, they've been so dry offensively for a long time. You mentioned the 4 1-0 games this month already, so they were due for these types of games where everything they swing at finds a hole.
Their season high in hits is 17. Had 17 hits against the Angels on August 17th out in LA. They had a couple of 16 hit games, most recently that Wednesday win over Texas, and then they had a 16 hit game against Texas back in April. So they're just 3 off their season high in hits.
They have played so many 1-run games because the pitching has been so good and the hitting not so good. The game yesterday was just their second win in their last 13 1-run games. So Joe Madden welcomes the offense.
Jim Hickey and I were talking about this morning on the bench in the Rays dugout, and he said, boy, we had such a great run of pitching right out of the All-Star break, and they managed just an 11-11 record. Broken bat pop-up behind second. Escobar will make the catch. The inning is over. Blue Jays finally keep the Rays off the board, but they trailed by 9. Well, coming up on Sportsnet tonight, Boston and Oakland. And Oakland has really beaten up on the Red Sox. It'll be Daisuke Matsuzaka against Brett Anderson, fine young left-hander. Then the Angels in Seattle. Good pitching matchup. The Angels will send Jared Weaver to the mound. He, too, like David Price, looking for his 17th win of the season. And how about the White Sox at Detroit? What a great pitching matchup. The young left-hander Chris Sale against the veteran Justin Verlander. The White Sox are clinging to a very narrow one-game lead as the Tigers have won the first 2 games of this series.
We got some Cy Young candidates going this afternoon in the American League, don't we? I think other than Felix Hernandez, who is not throwing today, I think there's 4 possibilities throwing this afternoon or tonight in the American League.
Price, Verlander, Sale, and Weaver.
That's it.
Hernandez pitched yesterday and pitched into the 8th inning with a 2-1 lead. Rajay Davis taps it out in front of him. How about that? David Price grabbed it barehanded and then got some help on the other end by Carlos Pena. And Price, I mean, he pounced on that ball and then grabbed it barehanded and threw it in the dirt at first.
You don't think this is a big athlete right here, barehanded, and just whips it to first base. Tough play by Pena as he got to lean into where that base runner is coming, snatch it, and then get out of the way. Nice play by both Price and Pena.
There's been a lot of discussion about Pena because of his sub-200 batting average, but what a terrific defender he is. And he's always a threat to run into one and knock it out of the ballpark. Boy, he can really play first.
Yeah. He moves. Just his actions as you watch him around the bag. On that play right there, just made it look easy.
There are guys that stick out in my mind over the years that played defense at first in an offensive manner. They were so aggressive. Keith Hernandez. Don Mattingly. I think of guys that really played their position well. And Carlos Pena is in that same category. I'd say Mark Teixeira is there too. Teixeira is not quite as smooth as Hernandez or Pena, but boy, he gets the job done.
It's because he's right-handed.
Yeah, isn't that something?
I think you want to have one of those left-handed throwing first basemen because they stretch with their right hand, and they're glove-handed to the inside of the infield, and then when you throw, you're actually facing second base on those double plays. But Teixeira is as good as anybody. Just doesn't look as smooth as some of the guys that you mentioned.
Yeah, when Pena comes in on a little chopper to first base with a man at first, I mean, he's got a clear path to throw because he's left-handed. And he's got a strong arm and great hands. Kobe Rasmus with a 2-2 count. Counts full. When you think about the White Sox and Tigers, and we mentioned they're going to play tonight, Max Scherzer has stepped it up a notch. I mean, he is right there with Justin Verlander as far as a shutdown starter for the Tigers. Shattered back, middle looper, and Zobrist makes the catch. Rasmus is retired, 2 down. The AL Central, the White Sox have a 1-game lead over the Tigers. And we mentioned Max Scherzer. He was terrific in shutting down the White Sox. He pitched 8 innings and shut them out. It was 5-0 when he left. Valverde gave up a run in the 9th. That's the only run that the White Sox could muster. But that was the 5th consecutive win for Scherzer. His 4th straight win with at least 7 innings pitched and 1 or no runs allowed in 4 straight games. So he is right there in the same class with Verlander right now.
Averaging more than a strikeout per inning, and that's the impressive thing. He and Verlander together, that's a pretty tough 1-2 punch in a short playoff series.
But first you have to get there.
Yeah.
David Price strikes out Edwin Encarnacion. He dug back for a little extra. A 1-2, 3/5 inning. Punctuated by a strikeout of Encarnacion. Perfect pitch on the outside corner. Their jersey all set up, Edwin Encarnacion's name being added to the back of that jersey. Remember, it's never too late to get suited up for the 2012 baseball season at jshop.ca. jshop.ca has the largest online selection of authentic Blue Jays caps, t-shirts, jerseys, and more. Visit jshop.ca or call 1-877-JAYS-SHOP. Great items on display and a lot of fans in the shop here at Rogers Center, but you can log on to jshop.ca and order your Blue Jays memorabilia.
Great gear.
Luke Scott coming off the bench to get an at bat here. He will bat for Jeff Keppinger in the DH spot.
Up by 9 runs, and you got a right-hander in there now. Now it's time to get some of these guys some at bats.
Luke Scott missed some time on the disabled list, but he's had a very productive season.
Yeah, he had one of those oblique injuries, a lot like Brett Laurie's problem, that side muscle that was pulled.
Scott missed 28 games, and Joe Madden would like to get him some good at-bats where he can get his bat going. Just 5 for 23 since his return. He made 8 rehab starts down in AAA Charlotte. Actually, he was in Port Charlotte in the Florida State League where the Rays have spring training. Joe Madden contemplating his next move. He's got Jose Molina in the game, and he's been banged up pretty good the last couple of days. He might want to get him off his feet for a while.
Start a big series when they go home as Scott goes down with the New York Yankees. Not a bad idea. They expanded their roster yesterday. They've got 8 players on the bench now, so it's not a bad idea. Elevating that fastball against Luke Scott, and Jenkins will pick up his 3rd strikeout of the afternoon. He's done a good job.
He's done just what John Farrell needs. He's given Farrell some length, so they don't have to go any deeper in the bullpen. Ben Francisco with a big swing, but he gets underneath it. Rasmus makes the catch. 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Two outs now as Carlos Pena will step in. Pena's been on base all 3 times. He walked and scored in the 2nd, homered in the 3rd, and was given an intentional pass in the 5th.
Have an easy inning right here, and Jenkins will be able to go 1, maybe even 2 for the Blue Jays. Nope.
What did I say about everything's falling? And excuse me, check swing base hit for Carlos Pena.
You know everything is falling where the Rays have not had a 1 3-up 3-down inning this afternoon. How about this? Check swing, see ya. Hits it hard enough, catches enough of that ball into no man's land in the left center field.
I can tell you one thing, Carlos Pena is not going to apologize for that.
Not
the kind of year he's had. It's been a rough season for him, and he'll take that hit for sure. Been on base 4 times today. Ryan Roberts goes after the first pitch and hits a high fly ball to center. That'll end the inning. The Rays get another hit. They have 9 runs on 15 hits today. Thereof of their starting pitching. Elliott Johnson comes off the bench, takes over defensively at 3rd base, as Joe Madden's going to give the regulars the rest of this game off. Reed Brignac just rejoined the ball club from AAA. He's at short, taking over for Ben Zobrist. Rich Thompson, we saw him earlier in the season. He is in left field for Desmond Jennings. And Sam Fole is in center field. B.J. Upton will get the rest of this day off.
Chad Jenkins' afternoon is over probably as he comes off and he gets the handshake from Don Wakamatsu and Pete Walker. That usually signals that his afternoon is finished. What a job by Chad Jenkins stretching this game out into the 7th.
5 innings. He gave up 7 hits, just 2 runs. He threw 57 pitches. That's a good job. And a job much appreciated by John Farrell and the coaching staff. Blue Jays just 2 hits against David Price, and they came in the 4th inning. David Torrealba got the first hit of the game, and then Mike McCoy, 1 out later, had a double. But they've yet to cross the plate.
David Price right now, 80 pitches. He is on cruise control. He's going to use that fastball predominantly.
This is popped up. Pena, the first baseman, makes the catch.
It's almost like David Price, I don't want to say reinvented himself, but he has made a slight adjustment in what he throws at the plate. Earlier this year, he threw more changeups. His first 13 starts of the season, he used his changeup 15% of the time, and his ERA was over 3. Since that time, his changeup percentage has been sliced in half, and he's gone more with fastballs and sliders. His ERA under 2.
Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, has been trying to convince Price and James Shields, for that matter, that their fastball is a weapon and go ahead and use it. Hickey would like to see all of his pitchers rely a lot on that fastball. Shields is a guy that can do anything. He's got great command and a terrific changeup. Just over the glove of Ryan Roberts into right field. A base hit for Yunel Escobar. Escobar's aboard, 1 down.
The all-new 2012 Honda CR-V. Yeah, it does that. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful weekend on Lake Ontario. A lot of boats out. A lot of people enjoying this great weather as they wrap up the summer. Final long weekend of the summer. And it's a beauty. David Torrealba.
Back to that conversation about Price and Shields and using the fastball and fewer changeups. That's not to say you abandon the changeup. You can't do that. I think it's a very important pitch. You just don't use it as often.
Well, I think too, because James Shields is probably to blame for a lot of it, because he can do so many things with the ball. He can cut it, he can sink it, he can throw great changeup. I mean, he's got terrific stuff. And then everybody else sees him and his success and says, well, I want to try that. Well, when you throw 97, you don't have to be as creative. But David Price is learning how to pitch. And I think the same can be said about Matt Moore. Second half of his season been night and day than the first. But it's his first year. Little tapper. Price bobbles it, and he'll go to first. Well, he made such a terrific play earlier in the game, and there he got ahead of himself. He gets the out at first. 2 outs. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, you talk about first-round draft picks, first overall draft pick, Steven Strasburg, same as David Price, and he's changed the fortunes of an entire franchise.
Bryce Harper, too, the other guy they mentioned in that highlight film, was #1 overall.
Cardinals won the game last night 10-9 in Washington. Sierra goes after the first pitch. Reed Brignac with his first play of the afternoon makes it flawlessly. Blue Jays are done in the 6th. 7th inning coming up. It's all Tampa Bay. Live or on demand on your favorite device. MLB.TV Premium now also includes a free subscription to At 12. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. A great month left of baseball. Blue Jays will have a lot to do with what's going on. They've got a beautiful schedule. Great home games here in September. Aaron Laffey, the left-hander, will take over. Boy, good job by Chad Jenkins to give the Blue Jays 5 innings out of the bullpen.
Boy, you're not kidding. Getting deeper into the ballgame. There is Aaron Laffey's stats this afternoon. 16 games, 11 starts for Toronto. And when Brandon Morrow came back, he was moved back into the bullpen. John Farrell has talked about now going to a 6-man rotation, probably after those days off that you were talking about, that bookend, that Boston trip coming up. Laffey will probably move back into the starting rotation as the 6th starter as they stretch out those young pitchers.
Yeah, and John Farrell just doesn't think it's necessary to beat up the starters and have them pitch on a regular 5-man rotation. So he'll probably get Laffey a few more starts down the stretch. Jose Molina, one of the remaining regulars in this lineup, was up and away for a ball. Laffey misses with the first pitch. Molina had an RBI single to center in his first at bat. He's since grounded out twice. One and two.
Okay, so we were talking earlier, Buck, about the great pitchers that are throwing today. Who's your Cy Young? I know we got a lot of baseball to go. Who's your guy in the American League?
Well, you look at any of these three guys, Price, Verlander, Sale. Boy, Sale's done a good job.
Jared Weaver.
Yeah, Jared Weaver
16-3.
Yeah, you can't overlook Jared Weaver by any means. He leads the American League in win percentage. CC Sabathia is 13-4. He's missed time with elbow problem. Price is 16-5. Soon to go 17-5.
I think the guy who wins it starts today.
One of the starters today?
No, going forward from here to the end of the season, whoever has the better finishing touches to their season wins big games for them in September, wins the Cy Young.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. And certainly David Price has a leg up. He's been there before. He's pitching great. Weaver has as well. And they've pitched in the postseason. Yep. Yeah, I think you're right. And it's always the lasting impression when the voters think about it. The voting is ended before the end of the season. You've got to submit your votes at the end of the season. The postseason doesn't factor into the Cy Young Award. But I like the ERA dominance. I like the winning percentage, of course. I think those are two things that you can measure. And then you look at the triple crown of pitching. Wins, ERA, and strikeouts. Max Scherzer's not that far out of the picture.
Hey, it's a dead heat right now. And whoever gets his team into the playoff and wins big games from here until October the 3rd, that's how you vote for your Cy Young win.
Weaver leads an opponent's batting average, 210. Verlander second, 214. Felix Hernandez, 222. Then Sale and Price. ERA, it's Hernandez, Price, Verlander, and Sale, and then Weaver's fifth. Any of those five guys could win.
Yeah.
With this outing today, David Price's ERA has dropped to the point where he now leads the American League, a 2.45 ERA. Felix Hernandez had a tough 8th inning yesterday. Verlander will pitch tonight. He's liable to pass them all.
He and Scherzer are going back and forth for the strikeout lead.
And Chris Sale pitches against Verlander tonight. He's right there with him. And then Jared Weaver. He too pitches this afternoon later on today. It's going to be fun. And you know what? I think now, given what we saw last year, we're going to see a lot of great baseball this month of September into October.
All the way down to the Last day of the regular season, and who knows? Maybe after they might have to have one of those one-game playoffs.
Sam Fold came in defensively in center field. He's batting in the leadoff spot in Desmond Jennings' spot, but he's playing in center field. Fold played on Thursday night, went 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Two balls and a strike. Popped out of play over the Blue Jays dugout. Laffey making his 17th appearance of the season, made 12 starts for the Blue Jays. He pitched a total of 75 2/3 coming into this ball game.
He had a couple of outstanding starts against the Boston Red Sox.
Shut them out over 2 outings, 13 innings, both at Fenway.
And that's when the Red Sox had all their guys before they unloaded them all to the Dodgers.
This is playable in left field. Rajay Davis comes in a couple of steps. Fold is retired. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. One out. Molina with a leadoff walk is at first. They play way behind him. Obviously, he's not going anywhere. That ball gets away. Yep, he's got to run now, and you can't blame him for that. Ball got away from Torrealba, and he'll go to second base.
Boy, that hurts. You got that double play that you can get out of the inning with one pitch. And the first pitch to L.A. Johnson in the dirt. Torrealba can't keep it in front of him, and Molina, you can see him just jog into second base.
Ground ball. There's that double play ball, and they'll go to third, and Molina will be tagged out. So they're able to erase Molina, the lead runner, as he was off on the ground ball. 2 down. Blue Jays obviously finishing up in the AL East. You're going to see a lot of their East rivalries. The Orioles will start a 3-game series tomorrow afternoon. It's a 1:07 start. The Orioles are looking for a postseason berth. Boston, like the Blue Jays, a disappointing season. Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Fenway. Then Seattle will come to town, and they're trying to get to 500. Boston back here at Rogers Center. Then the Yankees finish up with a 4-game set at the end of September. Rich Thompson, long run, and there's another ball that drops. That's the 16th hit for the Rays, and they've had a wide assortment of hits, a couple of home runs, a few bloops, and some hard hit balls.
Ball in the sun earlier in the game. A check swing by Pena that landed softly into the outfield. And how about that one? He gets beat by a pitcher on the inner half and just serves it out there like a drop shot in tennis. Just drops it right over the net for another hit.
$16 hits now for the Rays. Reed Brignac takes a first pitch strike. Brignac, a 118 average. Started out the season with the Rays, played 8 games, was sent back to the minor leagues. Pulls his hands back from an inside pitch. Brignac's a fine shortstop. Got great defensive skills. He's had a little trouble with consistency at the plate. Made his third opening day roster this year, but was sent back to AAA Durham on the 21st of April.
Yeah, hitting has kept him out of the big leagues and kept him out of the roster day in and day out. He can show that he can hit. He'll play in the big leagues.
Three and one. Seventh inning, and Tampa Bay got off to a quick start. Evan Longoria drove in the first run of the game with a double, batting with 2 outs in the first, and then Tampa Bay scored 6 runs in the second inning. And they never looked back. See Joe Madden, Dave Martinez looking up at the air show going on here. Boy, you can talk about a perfect day for an air show. They've got a cloud in the sky. Full count, 2 outs. There go the runners. Brignac strikes out. The inning is over. So the Rays threaten in their half of the 7th. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. 9-0 Rays. With Sharp on Facebook today. There are 5 ways to win this year, including a grand prize draw for Canada's largest LCD TV, a 90-inch Sharp Octopus. Join Sharp Canada on Facebook today. They see the Expos jerseys, and that's a group of about 150 Expos fans that are in attendance here, trying to raise awareness in an effort to bring baseball back to Montreal. Former Expo Warren Cromartie is involved. Of course, there's the great Gary Carter's jersey, the late Gary Carter, the Hall of Fame catcher, who's so prominent with the Expos. But certainly, a lot of people feel like Montreal could support a team once again. And you know what might be a great candidate? The Tampa Bay Rays.
There you go.
How about that rivalry? Montreal and Toronto in the same AL East division. Mike McCoy pops it up right side of the infield. Pena in foul territory makes the catch. Tampa Bay has been so hamstrung by their stadium situation, the location, the antiquated stadium. They have been a very successful franchise over the last 6-7 years. But they can't draw any fans there. They have very little support. They've got a pretty good TV audience across the state of Florida. They're a very popular team, and why not? They have a lot of good young players. They play hard. They're always in contention for a postseason berth.
Their stadium is actually in the city of St. Petersburg, which is a great city. So I'm wondering if Tampa, the fans, feel disconnected.
Brignac knocks it down, went off his glove, and Echeverria reaches.
Probably be a base hit by Echeverria. That's a tough play for Brignac. Plus, you're at home, give the guy a base hit. Short hop, he can't come up with it, and by that time, no chance to get Echeverria. But how about Pena all out in a 9-0 game?
Well, he saves his shortstop an error. I agree with you. I think that should be a hit. And it is. Infield hit for Echeverria. Yeah, Tampa Bay is a big area, obviously. And St. Petersburg is down in the southernmost part of that Bay Area. It's a tough place to get to.
Yeah. You got to deal with those bridges at rush hour, trying to get back and forth over that bridge to the ball game. And there's been rumors all over about the team maybe moving to a different city.
There just aren't that many places that can afford it economically to build a new facility. Miami just built a new ballpark, but there's no way that the Tampa Bay area will get behind a public financed stadium.
They've tried. That whole area has tried to put together proposals to build a new ballpark for it.
Perfect location would be Legends Field, where the Yankees have spring training, right next to the football stadium.
That's not happening.
No. But the football team went through the same problems early in their existence. They played in that big sombrero down there, a stadium that was antiquated. It took them a while to generate a fan base. And Davis will take a walk. So with runners at first and second, there's one out. Now Colby Erasmus will step in.
Well, any way you slice it with this team, it's a good organization. They do things the right way, develop good players. It's taken them a while, but they're on a nice little run right now.
Joe Madden is the longest tenured manager in the franchise history. And a broken bat, bouncing ball to short. Brignac not in time, and Rasmus will have an infield hit. Sounded like it broke his bat, and Brignac charged it hard, but Rasmus got out of the box in good shape, and the Blue Jays have the bases loaded.
A couple of infield hits and a walk is setting the stage for Edwin Encarnacion to add to his RBI total.
Rick Badenop, the right-hander, is loosening up, and Joe Madden just contemplating the situation. It's 9-0, and he knows that the Blue Jays can strike quickly.
Price still under 100 pitches and probably wants to get him through this inning.
Hey, fans, keep watching. With the bases loaded, we're a grand slam away from awarding an 80-inch Sharp Aquos Quattron LCD TV. To enter, visit Hit a Home Run with Sharp.ca. Sharp, big is too small a word for it. One out. Outside. David Price has thrown 99 pitches. I can't imagine they want him to extend any more than this inning.
Yeah, hoping for a quicker seventh inning, get him through it, see if the Jays can knock him out.
Edwin has a grand slam this season, one of two the Blue Jays have hit. Colby Erasmus hit the other. There's his line right at 100 pitches, 6 1/3, 5 hits. He's walked 4. That's the only trouble he's had, really.
Yeah, let's jump that pitch count up to 60% of the pitches for strikes this afternoon.
One and two.
Edwards hit the ball hard a couple of times against Price this afternoon. Doesn't have anything to show for it. A couple of fly ball outs.
The line drive back in the third. It was run down by Desmond Jennings in left field. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bases loaded. 1 out. Popped up. Foul ground down the right side. Pena giving chase. Makes the catch. Tagging at third is Echeverria. He comes in to score. And the Blue Jays are on the board. It's an RBI for Encarnacion. 2 down. Blue Jays finally break through against David Price. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Chris Dickerson just called up from the minor leagues and trying to make a name for himself and get established there with the Yankees. Been up and down a couple different times. He has a hit in 1 at bat. He's walked and driven in a pair. He's homered his first of the season. Came off Chris Tillman.
How about that? You come up from the minor leagues and right away help a team that is in the pennant race.
Adam Lynn goes after the first pitch. Sacrifice 5 for Edwin Encarnacion. He has 93 ribbies now. Closing in on 100 for the first time in his career.
Chalk that one up to some good base running right there by Danny Echeverria. Tags up on a pop-up to the first baseman. Encarnacion appreciates that.
Yeah, in a one-sided game, you want to play the game the right way, and certainly Echeverria did that for his teammate. He tagged and scored.
Edwin was standing at home plate when he scored. He gave him a high five for helping him pick up that RBI.
This is bounced off home plate. This is going to be a tough play, and Price doesn't have a play. Look at Rasmus. He'll go to third base. Elliott Johnson and David Price collided behind the mound on the third base side. Lynn gets a base hit. Rajay Davis comes in to score, and Rasmus ends up at third base.
Well, just like the Rays were doing to the Blue Jays this whole game, the Blue Jays are starting to do it to the Rays. Every little thing that is hit is finding a way to become a safe hit. Infield hit by Lynn. Rasmus was jammed, and he picked up an infield hit. Echeverria has an infield hit, and that will end the afternoon for David Price.
So David Price's day is over. He pitches into the 7th with 2 outs. Britt Badenhop on, trying to close out the inning. Season is just around the corner, and Thursday night football comes your way beginning September 13th with one of the best rivalries in sports, the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. The NFL on Sportsnet all season long. Rick Badenhop makes his 58th appearance of the season. He's on in relief of David Price with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th.
One of the pitchers that Joe Madden will use to bridge to the end of the game. Burke Badenhop's got a good sinking fastball, a little bit of a slider. He throws out a very interesting arm angle, making it very tough on righties.
Price had a tough inning, a couple bouncing balls and got away. He couldn't make a play on that ball off the plate. He's in line for his 17th win of the season. Escobar down at first. The appeal by first base umpire said that he went. Lance Barrett rings up Escobar. It's 0-2. Runners at the corners, 2 runs in. But the Blue Jays are still down by 7. They've trailed Tampa Bay 9-2. Bouncing ball up the middle. Brignac shovels to second for the force out. The inning is over, but the Blue Jays get on the board. David Price still in line for his 17th win of the season.
Pounce on that ball and then make a throw over to first base that is dug out by Carlos Pena to get a very fast Rajai Davis. David Price fielding his position and pitching well this afternoon.
Line for Price, 6 2/3, 6 hits, and he had some infield hits in that 7th inning. 3 of those hits came in the 7th inning. 2 earned runs, his walk total, a little bit of a problem for him, but he had 5 strikeouts.
His highest walk total since the 1st of June. He had a good fastball like he always does, cutting it to those right-handers on the outside part of the plate. Mixed in a changeup every now and then, but it was basically fastball cutter / slider for David Price as he works into the 7th inning, looking for a 17th win of the season.
So Price would move to 17 wins. Weaver going for his 17th later on this afternoon. Verlander has 12 wins. Isn't that interesting? Statistically, he does everything that all the others, but he hasn't had the consistent run support. He's lost some tough games. He's 12-7 for the season.
When we were in Detroit and Verlander was pitching, talked to some of the Detroit people and asked him about Verlander's year, and he said, you know, he's had some games where he had the lead and he blew it as that ball was popped up and playable.
Torrealba, the catcher, in fair territory, makes the catch. Luke Scott is retired.
You look at the peripherals for Verlander, and they're about the same. They're not as good as last year when he won the Cy Young, but they are almost as good. Just hasn't gotten the run support like you said, and that's why he's lost 7 games this year.
Verlander pitched 9 innings of 4-hit ball against the Blue Jays in that extra inning game. Tigers eventually won it in 11, but he went 9 innings, had 12 strikeouts. I mean, that's another example of how good he is, yet he didn't factor into the decision. Ben Francisco is factored into this ball game. He had a leadoff home run in the 6-run 6 innings. Tampa Bay scored 6 runs on 6 hits. Francisco with the home run. His first home run with Tampa Bay. It's just his first start. He's only hit 3 home runs this season. His other 2 came with the Astros.
And I believe his first one with the Astros was his first game after being traded down there. I remember watching the highlights after he got traded, and there he goes, long ball.
Yeah, this has to seem like a Christmas present for him to end up here with Tampa Bay in the midst of a pennant race. Man had been with the Indians. That was his original club. Then he played with the Phillies on 2 real good ball clubs.
Teammates with Aaron Laffey in the minor league system. But there is nothing worse in September when you're playing on a team that is out of it, coming to the ballpark trying to get up to try and win a ball game, and you know you have no chance. That month of September feels like it's about 3 months long.
Well, it sure does, and you really have to dig down deep, and you'll find out a lot about your players during the month of September. Everybody wants to be playing for something, and Blue Jays have to remember that they're playing to have an impact in the pennant race. Francisco takes the walk.
The all-new 2012 Honda CR-V. Yeah, it does that. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Great part of visiting Toronto is enjoying the CN Tower. It's a busy time around here. A lot of folks down enjoying the great weather. Over to Center Island, the ferry line was stretched all around the hotel today over there.
Would you go tell my kids that? Because they want to go there after the game.
I'm going to tell them I think you should go there.
I don't want to wait in line for that long.
Yeah, it's quite a jammed place today, and it's gorgeous over there today. Carlos Pena has had quite a day at the plate. Been on base 4 times. Walk, home run, intentional walk, and a single.
Playing some good first base also. You saw that play of the game where he dug the ball out of the dirt to save a run. He's also saved his shortstop an error last inning. Made a nice play on that Encarnacion pop-up that ended up being a sacrifice fly. He went a long way to go get that one.
Strikes out. Laffey found that outside corner. 2 down.
Good pitch right there. That was the pitch that we were talking about earlier in his 2 starts against the Red Sox in Fenway Park that he mastered. He used that fastball and he used that cut fastball, and he was carving the corners against Boston.
Yeah, he had a very important presence in that rotation, filling in for the injured pitchers. Brian Roberts, second baseman, has gone 1 for 4 this afternoon. He had a double in his first at bat. Chris Jimenez just called up from the minor leagues. The catcher is loosening up on deck. Matt Joyce and Jose Lobaton still haven't entered the ball game. Tampa Bay made all of their call-ups on the 1st of September. They're in a pennant race. They want to have as many players available for whatever situation might arise. Roberts strikes out. Laffey back-to-back strikeouts. That ends the 8th inning. 9-2 Tampa Bay. We'll go to the ninth. Now it's time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. Be here starting tomorrow afternoon in Baltimore, as Jamie mentioned. Lead the Yankees 5-3 this afternoon in New York. Then the Seattle Mariners. Seattle is making a run at 500, and they'll be in for a 3-game set, 11, 12, and 13. Then the Red Sox, 3-game series. And finally, the New York Yankees will wrap up the month of September with a 4-game set, 27th through the 30th. 4 tickets. Call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. You can always log on to BlueJays.com to order your Blue Jays tickets or stop by most Rogers Plus locations.
And then one more series after that in October with Minnesota Twins. And that's a wrap. Chris Jimenez will take over behind the plate. We got a shot of him coming out on deck last inning. He will lead off the next inning as he takes over for Jose Molina.
Victor Alba, the Blue Jays catcher, 1 for 3. Goes after the first pitch, hits it right to Reed Brignac. 1 pitch, 1 out. Burt Badenhop came in to close out the 7th inning on in relief for David Price. Price went 6 2/3, gave up 6 hits, 2 runs.
He's one of those guys with those rubber arms. Like, looks like he can throw every single day. Sinker, slider. Lots of ground balls when he's on.
Tampa Bay will go home to take on the New York Yankees in a 3-game series. They too will play an afternoon game on Labor Day. James Shields will go to the mound to take on CC Sabathia. Alex Cobb will then match up with Freddie Garcia on Tuesday night, and the left-hander Matt Moore and Hiroki Kuroda on Wednesday night.
Shields has already left. He is in Tampa already. Not waiting around for this one. They flew him home yesterday. It's a big series for him.
Well, Joe Madden, he knew that he was in tough today. He contemplated just what kind of lineup he would send against Ricky Romero, and he picked the right lineup. Romero goes 1 inning plus 8 batters, and he gives up 8 hits, 7 earned runs, and he couldn't get out in the second. It's been a tough run for Ricky Romero.
Yeah, he was contemplating putting more left-handed batters in that lineup against Romero, but then went back to his usual game plan of putting some righties in there, and it worked out for him.
Well, you remember early in the season he did stack the lineup with left-handed bats, and it proved to be effective. And he had tremendous respect for Ricky Romero. He said, hey, I'm just trying to come up with the best plan I can to beat a good pitcher. Mike McCoy started at second. He's walked, doubled, and popped up. Elliott Johnson at third base throws him out. That ends the 8th inning. We'll go to the 9th. It's all Tampa Bay. Rogers customers have more ways to get Sportsnet live coverage on the Blue Jays. Watch the action live all season from your smartphone. Download the Rogers Live app from your app store. Beautiful shot of Toronto on a gorgeous Labor Day weekend. Blue Jays look like they're going to split the 4-game series with Tampa Bay. The Rays have a 7-run lead as they're set to bat in the top of the 9th. Well, this has been quite a different ball game than the first 3 ball games. Brandon Morrow and Carlos Villanueva pitched terrific games to win the first 2 games. Villanueva improved to 7-4 in his start on Thursday. Brandon Morrow was a 2-1 winner on Friday. Tampa Bay on a 5-4 thriller, with the Blue Jays getting the tying run thrown out at home plate in yesterday's game. And this has been a totally different ballgame.
Tampa Bay Ray batters finding lots of open spaces in the defense today.
Chris Jimenez lines it to left, and why not? Everybody's hitting today for Tampa Bay. That will tie their season high. That's the 17th hit that Tampa Bay has recorded this afternoon.
High fastball, 2-strike pitch. Wanting to go up there, but it's not high enough. And Jimenez said, hey, let me get in on some of that.
Jimenez did a good job of swinging the bat down in the minor leagues, particularly against left-handed pitching. He had .375 against lefty pitching with a 1.12 OPS. He was swinging it.
Should deserve a call up. Get that third catcher up there. When you get your chance, do something with it.
Sam Fuld lined out to left. This is a little blooper. That's going to get down for the 18th hit. That's a new season high for Tampa Bay. 9 runs on 18 hits, and I tell you what, they've had every kind of hit possible today. Bloops and blasts and home runs, and everything's fallen in.
Ball in the sun. B.J. Upton had a fly ball that fell in when the right fielder lost it. Check swing by Carlos Pena falls in. And you know what? One of those days.
Yep. Not much you can do about it. Blue Jays had a couple of those in their 7th inning. Adam Lynn got a base hit, bouncing a ball off home plate. Rasmus had a broken bat single. Elliott Johnson goes after the first pitch. Elliott Johnson played a lot of shortstop early in the season. He's a switch hitter. One ball, one strike, nobody out. Two and two. Inside, it's full count. Runners at first and second. Nobody's going to be running in this situation. Obviously, there's nobody out. We are in the top of the ninth inning. Driven into right field. Sierra back in front of the warning track, makes the catch, and tagging and advancing is Chris Jimenez. He goes from second to third. Lots more baseball coming up later on right here on Sportsnet. The Oakland Athletics have really done a number on Boston, and they will hook up a little bit later. That's coming up next. The Angels and Seattle on Sportsnet West and Pacific. And tonight, a great matchup. Chicago White Sox and the Detroit Tigers, 8 p.m. start. They're battling for the lead in the American League Central Division.
That is down to one game. Tigers win that one, and we are all tied up in the American League Central. I think there's going to be some good pennant races.
Well, there's certainly a lot of teams in position. How about Oakland? They won their 8th straight game. And they moved to within 3 games of Texas for the first time since April 14th. They are 18 games over 500. 2 months ago, they were 4 games under 500.
Where did that come from?
What a turnaround.
And yeah, the American League East, what have they done to the AL East? Supposed to be a good division. They made it look like Swiss cheese.
Now, Oakland's really played well against the American League East. They have a 24-15 record. And that's pretty impressive when you consider Tampa Bay has 28 wins against their division. Baltimore has 27, and New York has 26. Ground ball. Escobar steps on the bag, goes to first. That ends the top of the ninth. Escobar does a good job to close out the inning. Bottom of the ninth coming up. Rogers Center. Remember, it's a 12:30 start. That's the pregame show with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. That's 9:30 a.m. Pacific on Sportsnet. Jay Happ will go to the mound to open up the series against the Orioles. He will be opposed by Joe Saunders, loser in his first outing for the Orioles after being picked up from Arizona. So a couple of left-handers on tomorrow, first of 3 against the Orioles. Cesar Ramos will make his first appearance since being called up. He's been called up to add some depth. He had 12 appearances earlier in the season for the Rays.
Third stint in the big leagues this year for the Rays. He was just called up yesterday when rosters could expand. Good numbers for him. Another lefty. That gives him 3 lefties out of the bullpen now. Pretty decent arm. Fastball slider type of pitcher.
But Danny Echeverria had an infield hit his last time up, came around to score. .217 average for the Blue Jays rookie. Playing at third base today. He played at shortstop to give Yunel Escobar a day off yesterday.
Slider from Ramos. He just dances out of the way. Expo fans are getting fired up right there.
Yeah, there are about 150 Expos fans in attendance here at Rogers Center just to create awareness that they'd like to have baseball back in Montreal. Warren Cavardi is involved with this effort, just bringing awareness that there are still a lot of big baseball fans in Montreal.
Echeverria at the plate is getting that playing time at third base because Brett Laurie is out. And a little update on him after this play.
Johnson throws him out, 1 down.
Brett Laurie is taking some controlled batting practice down in Florida. And what is controlled batting practice? He's working off the tee. He's working with some soft toss. Nothing real strenuous right now. And just a way to stay loose and try and keep your batting high. They don't really want to push it. And they're thinking maybe there'll be a chance that he can get into one of those situational games where a pitcher will come out and throw live batting practice and he'll get some live hitting to see how that side is feeling. But it's not getting better, and it's not getting better fast enough at the rate that the Blue Jays were hoping.
Yeah, they're so tricky in the healing process with those oblique strains, intercostal strains, and got to be careful with it. You'd like to have him play a few games before he goes into the off season, just to put it behind him.
Just so he and the Blue Jays organization know that he is 100% heading into the winter. There was even some hints that when instructional league starts at the end of this month, that he might be able to go down there and get some batting practice and some game situations to get ready then to finish out the season here.
Yeah, it's almost as if it just kind of gives you an opportunity to close the book on your season, just to come back and play baseball again, whether it's in the big leagues or instructional league, and then go into a regular off season, take your rest, and think about your off season conditioning.
Let the body heal up, and then whatever that time is that you start cranking it back up for the next season, you know you're going to be 100%.
Rajay Davis grounds it to second. Ryan Roberts throws him out. Blue Jays are down to their last out.
An update also on J.P. Arancibia, how he is doing. J.P. is catching some bullpens right now. He's doing some baseball activities. And they are hoping and that he can get back into the big leagues in another week or 10 days, which would be nice. He too then would know when the season's over that he's 100%.
Kobe Erasmus goes after the first pitch and hooks it into the seats. Brett Laurie has played 100 games, 397 at-bats this year, and last year he got just 150 at-bats. Broke his hand in the minor leagues last season, so I'd like to get him back and get him ready for a full season next year. Erasmus drives it to left. That'll get down in front of Rich Thompson. Erasmus has a couple of hits this afternoon. Just the 7th hit for the Blue Jays. Edwin Encarnacion had a sac fly to the first baseman his last time up, and Danny Echeverria came in to score. That gives Edwin 93 ribbies for the season. David Price went 6 2/3. Bert Badenhoff an inning and a third, and now Ramos trying to wrap it up. High fly ball left field. Rich Thompson at the warning track, at the wall, home run in front of CO. Number 37. Finish up the day with a little good feeling. Encarnacion hitting a 2-run home run. He's driven in 3.
Inching closer and closer to 100 RBIs on the season. Kobe Erasmus keeps the inning alive for the big home run hitter, and he doesn't let him down. Watch where this pitch is. It's up, and he stays up with it and cranks it. Not real sure if he's got enough of it. And he carries it right into the bullpen for number 37. That's how you make a statement in your final at bat.
Closing in on Adam Dunn for the American League lead. Fly ball to center. Sam Folds got room, and this should do it. The game is over. Lynn flies out to center field. Tampa Bay behind a strong pitching performance by David Price and a season-high 18 hits. Takes the final game of this series. They split the 4 games, 2 games apiece.
Yeah, they gave a little bit of momentum as they head back home for a huge homestand against the Yankees in Texas. Blue Jays have to forget about this one. Those 18 hits they gave up, they got to strap it on tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon, it'll be the Baltimore Orioles in for a 3-game series. We'll be right back here. 1 o'clock start. Stay tuned. Jamie Campbell, Greg Zahn, Blue Jays Central, coming right up.